welcome to Have a Chat. I'm Audrey Lynch with my beautiful co-stars, Judy Loge and Veronique Arsenault. Good afternoon, ladies.
Happy April 1st.
I know.
You bunch of fools.
I know.
We are. April Fool's Day.
We are.
Yes, the beginning of March is over. It's gone.
Yay, I love
Done.
to say the word April.
No, exactly.
It's
Spring is full on.
And it's supposed to be like a really warm April.
I'll
from what I
bring it
hear.
on.
Oh, I heard it's supposed to be like a stifling summer, and
Yeah.
I'm bring it.
Bring it on.
Bring it.
Bugs and all.
Definitely.
Now I hear we're having snow tonight, though.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know it's cold.
Oh, well, we have a great show lined up for you today, and that's all that matters here in the beautiful Miramichi. We're going to start off our show like we usually do, which is with a little quote, something positive, and I believe, Veronique, you're up with that for
It
us
is my
today.
turn. It
Your
is.
turn.
But I'm going to start with the fact that today is also Audrey's birthday.
Ta-da! So, our voices are incredible, like Celine Dion and Barbara Streisand.
Yes.
So let's show people. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Audrey. Happy birthday to you, and many more.
So now most
Thank
of our viewers
you.
have tuned out.
Yes, I'm like they've turned the channel, see what else is on.
Happy birthday.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
you know.
Because of my contest prep and everything I'm in peak week there now, so I apologize for any mental or lack of staying on the ball with our conversation today. I'm going to try my best. But there'll be no cake or alcoholic beverages until Saturday night. So I'm actually delaying my birthday celebrations for
That's okay.
anyone who wants to help me participate to this Saturday evening.
You're allowed.
Hey, we'll do it for you in between.
Just
Yes,
a note,
I'm okay with that.
definitely.
All right, so now my quote.
Okay.
I survived because the fire burned. Sorry, I survived because the fire inside me burned brighter than the fire around me.
That's nice.
Oh.
I love it.
Yeah.
I like that. I
Strength.
survived because the fire inside me burned brighter than the fire around me.
I know.
Yeah, you've got it
True.
within. You have to have it inside to do whatever you want to do and achieve it.
Yeah, and there's no.
This
I
is
mean, there's
true.
no question that things, are exceptionally difficult at times. But
Right.
if you can just hang on and get through it.
Yeah,
Then-
well, that's true. Even just with me and my journey right at the moment, people are like, "I don't know how you're doing it. I don't. I wish I had your discipline, or I wish I had your." And I'm like, and I'm sitting there going, "Yeah, how am I doing it?"
It's doing it.
You know what I mean?
You
Kind
are
of thing.
doing
And
it.
that's,
Plugging
and then
away.
your quote is exactly that: the fire and the desire for me to want this outweighs what's happening around on the physical outside of it to get there.
Yes,
so it's
for
so
sure.
True.
Love
Yeah,
that
definitely.
quote, Veronique.
It's
Thank
beautiful.
you. Thank you.
So our viewers probably noticed we have some guests that are already here with us. Welcome back.
Back.
We've
So
decided.
exciting. If you saw last week's show, you might understand why they might be here today. But we're going to introduce our guests just the same, Zach Hallahan and Nancy Hallahan Sturgeon. Welcome back,
Thanks for
guys.
having us.
Big
This is
smiles.
awesome.
Yeah.
Couldn't be happier, really.
No,
Couldn't be happier,
exactly.
Well, we
Huge.
don't often have, and I said this before we went to air, but we don't often have the bookends of something, right?
No.
We have the please
True.
support piece that we
lead
do
up.
here.
Yeah.
But we
or
never,
this is happening.
Yeah.
This is what's going on. Keep watching. And
but we never get to do the woo!
Success stories like
Really?
that.
Yeah.
We were doing the woo. We do them, but not a week apart. It was only a
Yeah.
week ago you were here. Tell us, the viewers that didn't see the show, what you were here about, and then what
Yes,
happened.
because someone might be watching just for the first time today. So
Yeah.
introduce yourself. We have Zach.
So I'm Zach. So myself and Nancy, we started this campaign roughly about 10 weeks ago to fundraise.
weeks ago,
Yeah.
eh?
Woo.
January
That's
20th,
all.
we started
Wow.
we put in a submission for Kraft Hockeyville to get ourselves, it was for $250,000 to put towards a rink. It was in memory of Thomas Dunn.
And they received thousands of
And
applications,
thousands
by
and
the way.
thousands. We
Yeah.
had to do a rally, and then a couple weeks later, they announced the top four. We were lucky enough to get
Be
into top
in the
four,
top
So
four.
which
exciting.
was amazing.
Yes.
And
That
then for
alone.
us, that was the win. We were
Well,
like,
I was going to say,
where-
did you
Yeah.
think, okay, so we've made it to the top
Yeah.
four. Oh my God, this is fantastic. We've
Even-
really,
It's
we're
like
here.
we said last week, when we started it, we were like, you know what? Once we got the momentum and people started listening and like supporting us, we were like, you know what? If everything ended here, we were happy with
Yeah.
it.
Ah,
And then
that's
top
it.
four came, and Renews came across the screen, and then it just lit
Oh,
up.
I've got
like
the bumps
and the
of
fire
goo.
burned.
It did. It was
Bumps
kind of like
too.
a quote. It just
Yeah.
started inside of us, and it just gave us even more
Yeah.
to go for.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then the 25,000 was like exciting to us.
Yeah.
Because we
Right.
knew
'Cause
we
top
didn't know
four,
what we were
that's
doing.
what- yeah,
Is it
exactly.
25,000 or
For
more?
the
For the top four.
top four.
Oh,
For
yeah.
top
Yeah.
four,
We were
yeah.
gonna get
guaranteed
that.
You were
Yeah.
going to get that if you made the top four.
Oh,
So here we have
at
some
top of the-
footage of the area and the rink
Yeah.
itself. kind of thing.
And one of the pieces that actually they haven't talked a lot about is you get also $10,000 worth of hockey equipment,
Yeah.
right?
Put
Oh,
towards it.
wow.
Really, yeah.
Which is amazing.
Yeah,
That's
we can do anything with that,
fantastic.
like as far as equipment, put it towards a new clock, anything for like the junior,
Okay.
senior, novice kids to buy
Right.
equipment.
And the change
So it
room
was
was
just-
underneath the stairs for the
Yeah,
girls
like
and
a
the
broom
dressing
closet.
underneath.
They've
broom
never had their
closet.
own room.
No.
No.
And now this is a chance to finally be able to.
But
give
there was
them
a lot
everything
of
they
work
wanted.
that went into putting this
Yeah.
submission in.
Yeah.
And then turning around and rallying the community in the surrounding area to vote and get out there and do that,
I know.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been overwhelming, really. I mean, as an
really-
an outsider looking in the fact that I'm not on the committee, it's been overwhelming to
yeah.
see. Like every day, there
To
was
watch.
more and more people. Like
On
we're
board.
here with you.
Every
We're
time
here
you
with
turn
you.
around.
Yeah.
No.
Incredible,
and so
actually.
many businesses jumped on
Oh.
board. So many.
Without even
Like,
actually having to ask anybody. It was just
No.
people automatically went and done it. And they supported
Yeah.
us and
No,
they brought
they
everybody
didn't
together
even have
and
to be
spread the word
asked.
so fast.
Yeah.
Now, there could be people watching the show, which
Yeah.
airs YouTube internationally, so kudos to all of those finalists
Yes.
in this competition.
yes.
Oh,
But I
100%.
will say, as a person from this area, and we're all from this
Small,
area,
small community.
that the video was so inspiring and moving that I think anyone that
was.
watched Dawn Donovan, the mother of Thomas Donovan, who was
Dawn Dunn.
Dawn Dunn, her like tugged at your heartstrings to the point
Yes.
where as soon as she spoke, you thought vote again because she's doing it, and we're doing it in honor of her son
Getting through
and
it,
in
yeah.
memory of Tom Donovan.
Yeah.
That's where I was getting Donovan
Yes.
because he's
Yeah.
the man that was
Yeah.
the
the
arena.
rink, Yeah.
Yeah, and Nancy, you're back with us again as
Yes,
well.
yes. Again, Zach and I are kind of like, you know,
Two peas in a pod.
Partners.
yeah,
Kinda
yeah.
like co-partners.
They're
Forced to
male,
be
female
reckoned with,
version of
actually.
Well, yeah. Jake Stewart was teasing the other night. I might be his next campaign manager. And I was like,
There you
no,
go.
I think my father would turn over his grave.
Oh, well.
Yeah. So no, it just we were so thankful that Dawn and Harry were both able to share Thomas with us.
Yes.
It was an emotional last couple of weeks for
Yeah.
everyone on the
Very.
committee because we realized the multi-talents that we have. When you leave Renews or Miramichi, you never leave the river.
that's right.
You
No.
never
You
leave
always
home.
come back.
Like it's one of those you can always come back home. And
Right.
the ties, we have so many people that designated. Be careful what you're good at. When someone said,
Yeah.
"Oh, I can," we were like, "Okay, it's yours."
Yeah.
So it wasn't one person. It wasn't the committee. It was Renews and surrounding areas, which went into our county, which
Yeah.
eventually was our province.
Yeah.
Our province was Atlantic Canada. Then
Yeah.
the rest of Canada took hold, and there were Canadians on vacation that were
going
voting.
online.
Yes, and Dawn, when we did the 32-hour
Yeah.
marathon at the rec center, and the school was amazing, the Blackville High School. The individuals that brought food, the restaurants,
Yeah.
the
It was
companies,
phenomenal.
Yeah.
the
Really.
So that
you know,
people could just sit and just do the voting.
just
Yeah.
do the
and
voting
not have
and
to
not
leave.
worry.
I could have
like,
done that. Just bring me coffee. I could have just sat there and.
And
Yeah.
I saw
Well, I
in
think
this-
I think
yeah.
we're all going to never forget the fire hydrants, buses,
Crosswalks.
And I did say
Storefronts.
several times that was a cultural bias. There are no fire hydrants or crosswalks in Renews
No.
and surrounding areas.
But then we are not robots.
And we are
No,
not.
that's big.
No, I'm thinking
No.
the mascot should be
And
robots.
the amazing thing with it all was that it really turned into, like Nancy said, we started out with a committee,
Yeah.
and then it turned into everybody that casted a vote
Yeah.
turned
Yes.
into a committee.
Yes, that's right.
We turned into a committee, a family, and a support system.
Yeah.
No.
It was because everybody clicked that button that I'm not a robot.
And you could vote and vote
Yeah.
and vote and
Yeah.
vote and
And
vote
vote.
with
That was the other
intervals.
thing,
Yeah.
endlessly, which made a really, really big
And the thing
difference
was,
as well.
initially we thought when we started this whole thing, we were like every 6 seconds, every 6
Yes,
seconds.
yes.
But it
That's
didn't
what I
turn
thought
out that
that
way.
way.
No.
It turned into like one vote turned into like, oh, it took a minute
Yeah.
or 2 minutes.
Right.
But people stood by it. And
I
it was like, you know
did.
what?
No, they
if I only
did.
get 20 votes in
No.
an hour, it's worth it.
But I
It's
swore
worth it.
a lot. I did.
So
I did.
Everybody should have had like a swear jar and just
I
put
did,
a loony in
I
it.
did.
Yeah.
But I
Could've went
saw
shopping after.
I saw somebody who had posted her Fitbit count online, and she said, "I've been voting since midnight," and it was like 6 p.m. or something like that. And she said, "I only have 674 steps since midnight," and it was like
Yeah.
she hadn't moved off the couch.
Oh, good devotion.
But
Yeah, so-
I want to talk a little bit about what's happened as well since. So
Yeah.
there was of course the big piece about getting out to vote, and everybody did vote. we were getting tweets from the Premier of Nova Scotia. We were getting tweets from all over Canada. We were trending worldwide
Yeah.
at one
Oh,
point.
worldwide.
Yeah, we trended.
And
We even have our own bubble now.
announcement, the hockey night in Canada, we're all sitting there at
I know.
going to midnight going,
Exactly.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
everything, it was just, and so many people I've talked to said it was the best moment they've ever witnessed
Yes.
live.
It
One of
really
our,
is.
one
To
of,
experience that
Yeah.
thrill.
yeah.
To think of how far that it went.
Oh,
we
yeah.
got text messages from people in Ontario, like living in
Alaska.
Ontario, that it just came across the radio station. Don't forget to vote for Renews for Kraft
Isn't that
Hockeyville.
amazing?
and people cried.
And it's like,
when it was
wow, it's like,
announced.
Oh, yes.
Renews got that far.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
So since then, there's been a lot of great stuff that's happened since then.
Yeah.
So of
On
course
top of-
we were
Yeah.
announced, of course, as the winner in Renews. The Wayne Gretzky Foundation has committed to donating $5,000 to the rink.
Yes.
Now it is amazing that the rink is getting the 250, but we know that we need
So
more,
much
right?
more, yeah.
Right.
Gretzky's so
Yeah.
valuable to
Amazing.
everybody.
Now, the Minister of Aboriginal Affairs, Jake Stewart,
Yes.
committed to $50,000.
Yes.
On
Yes.
top of
Isn't,
that.
isn't
On
that
top of
amazing?
That, and
That
I
evening,
figured he would
regardless
kick
of the
in. She's
outcome.
so proud.
Oh, he was
Yes.
going to donate that regardless.
That came
Yeah.
regardless.
Okay.
That
Perfect.
his announcement came before that, and the biggest part of that announcement, and the most emotional part, is that the reconstruction of the Anderson Bridge will be
I
the
saw
Thomas
that. Yeah,
Dunn
I
Bridge.
heard that.
Is
I
that
heard that.
right?
So
Oh,
love can build a bridge.
my
I said there's a
goodness.
country song in
Okay.
that.
Oh, yeah, for
that,
sure.
That was amazing because like Thomas Dunn is why we did this.
I know.
It was a healing of the community, and
Yeah.
Thomas Dunn, the T6
Sweetheart.
logo, the Never Done, the Get Her Done,
Yeah.
like everything was inspired by his 14 years on Earth.
I know.
And we are certain that Tom Donovan,
Divine intervention.
yeah, Tom Donovan and Thomas Dunn and all those volunteers that worked so hard through the years with, we had banners of family names, name bar banners
Yeah,
as you come
we
into
brought
the
them all
rink
over from the
for.
rink.
It came over from the rink and we shared those banners and we had a subtle memorial, little, but it was recognized, and that part of the idea that we had that divine intervention
Oh,
and we
well, I
kind of
believe
had
that.
a
Well, that's the thing. It was like because Thomas hasn't been the first, and he won't be the last. But luckily, we were able to bring everybody together, families together from the
that's right.
1980s
Yeah.
until now,
That's
and
right.
bring them
Yeah.
into one room and celebrate the life of everybody that came
Yeah.
through
And
our
his
arena.
Birthday was the day after the
Yeah.
announcement. You can't tell me
Yeah.
that wasn't divine
know.
intervention. That was
It's
a
crazy.
gift for the family
Yeah.
in honor
Crazy.
of him. That was
Yes.
just beautiful.
That's
Yeah.
just it.
About 5 after 12, we sang "Happy Birthday" to Thomas.
Yeah.
The whole.
I
So-
want to make a point of the population of the other communities compared to Renews
Yes.
to be able to pull off the win.
Yes.
Like some of the communities had 80,000 as a population.
In their surrounding areas.
In
not
their
the-
surrounding-
their
not the
suburb.
actual
Yeah.
community,
No.
Yeah.
but 732 in Renews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
to be able to
Yeah.
pull
To
off
come
this win,
across
that's
it this
very
much.
impressive.
Power in numbers.
It is.
That's
though.
it.
It is.
And
Like-
it's kind of like what you were saying. We had Andrew Dawson had donated
that's another- yeah,
$5,000.
that's another one.
Jennifer Donovan had donated
Oh
$5,000.
my goodness.
They,
It's
a
just-
lot of companies and individuals matched.
And they're donating like services
Yes.
and like alarm
Oh,
services.
yeah.
And
amazing.
Some of the
Elevator
carpenters
system, alarm.
want to help
Yeah.
with the
Yes.
renovation.
Yeah.
It's been
Isn't
like
that amazing?
crazy. Every
Yeah.
time we go on a group, which is now up to 13,000 people,
Right.
it's just something new every day. And somebody wanting to help in any way that they can.
Yeah.
It's been amazing.
Now I know that so everybody's been asking. I know this
Yes.
Yes.
repeatedly. Everybody's been asking, how do I give you some money? Because
Yeah.
the momentum is there right now, and
Yeah.
everybody wants to do something.
Yeah.
How do we give you money?
So we started this today, literally 2 hours ago. Well, really yesterday, it started coming across. We were like, you know what? We won. We won in our community. We won in our hearts. Like we don't need anything else. We're not asking for anything else because the community stepped up so much. But people just wanted to keep on
That's
giving
right.
and giving and giving. So today, 2 hours ago, we opened up another account with the credit union in Blackville, and we're going to accept e-transfers.
All right.
For anybody, because it doesn't matter if it's $5, it's $50,000. It's still money that we're able to
makes
put
it
towards
makes
the
a
rink.
difference.
So 5
Every little bit.
50,000.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think I'll take
Yes.
the 5.
Yes.
Do you want to handle the 50?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll think about it.
Yeah,
I'll think about it. The NHL game, can we touch on
Oh,
that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Really quick,
wondering.
I just want to say,
We don't know yet.
And where?
Give the email first.
Yeah,
just
so
before-
just-
e-transfer.
so anybody that wants to do an e-transfer,
Transfer?
it's tomdonovanarena@hotmail.com, and then the same password is just never done.
Okay.
Never
Never
done.
done.
And we're accepting them
Yeah.
daily. It's been
Okay.
in the first hour we had almost $700.
Just
Oh,
do
It's been
wow.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Love
Yeah.
crazy. So you also get to have and host an NHL
Yes.
hockey game.
Yes, we have no idea. Though, what we're doing.
None, because everybody's like,
All
"Ooh."
of
Yes, I know. Like,
Better be Toronto.
Don't go across
Yeah.
the table. Sit.
well, actually, we're hitting on the numbers for the fire marshal, and they
Yeah.
were watching the first game,
Right.
and I was like, we need some bodies to volunteer to go watch the big screen.
Yes.
And then Toronto scored, and I went back to the mic, and I was like, okay, we got this figured out. All Toronto fans, go to the rink.
Oh my gosh, that would be.
But
me.
everyone was taking it lighthearted. You
Right.
had, jerseys hugging each other, like, it was
amazing.
So as
all.
soon as you guys know the details of that,
We're going
We'll
to release
come
it as
back.
soon as possible.
Like, if you
Yeah.
want us to come back, we'll give
gosh.
you
You
the
just got
details.
yes, famous
You
by
know.
then.
Oh, yes, like the paparazzi.
Every day.
Like,
But
Exactly.
you're pumped, and everyone was so emotional, and you were holding your breath at that
Yes.
last moment, second when
The
the announcer of
longest
NHL said,
seconds.
and the winner is.
and then he turned
Then
it
he
around.
had to turn her around.
He had
we
to
were all,
turn it
you could hear
around.
the, oh.
I'd loved to have been in that arena.
Yeah.
It must
Well,
have
the
been
rink, it
sensational.
just seemed like they announced it there. I guess the rink erupted, and then it was like, let's get over to the rink. So that flood of people, there was no trying to manage
Yeah.
anything. It's just you didn't want anyone to miss out in the moment.
No.
But the kids were front and center
Yeah.
all
They
the time,
were.
and Thomas's peers and teammates, his actual Renegades team was in the
Right
provincials
there.
and
Yeah.
made it into the finals in the provincials. Yeah,
you're
they're
kidding.
silver medalists
Yeah.
He's
now.
guiding. I
Yeah.
can't.
Oh,
I'm
that's
very
the thing.
spiritual, and I'm
Everything with
sorry
this.
nobody else is, but
Yeah.
that is him working with God
Yes,
up there.
yeah.
It's funny, I heard Ashley Hallahan this morning say on 95.9 Sun FM that yes, it's brought the community together and it's done some healing, but it's also now set the rink up for the next 30 years,
That's
right?
the thing.
Like
Yes.
it's giving back to the generations that
It
are to come
is.
that
Yes.
aren't there
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
Yeah.
that's
just
amazing.
Well, we want to thank you so much for coming back on and
Thank you for
sharing
having
your
us.
story.
We'll
Good
come.
job,
Thank you for
guys.
having
You and
us.
your committee.
We're officially like Kraft Hockeyville winners.
You
Yeah.
are.
That's what we are. We're
Definitely.
winners.
New
New
We're
Brunswick
news.
Kraft,
Something we'll
Kraft
never
Hockey
forget.
2019.
No.
Don't go away.
Forever.
We'll be back with
Thank
more
you so
Have a
much.
Chat after the break. And we're back with more Have a Chat. We were just talking with a couple of representatives, Zach and Nancy from Renews, the Kraft Hockeyville winners. Congratulations to them and their community. It was fantastic. We did want to mention, just before they left, we wanted to bring up the fact that Thomas was an organ donor, and he actually, with his death, came eight lives.
He saved eight lives
with
with
his
organ donations. So
pretty
we just wanted to
amazing.
bring that up. And
Well, it actually today
'Cause it's
kicks
a
off.
huge thing.
Today kicks off Organ Donation Awareness Month.
that's right.
And tomorrow's World Autism Day.
World Autism
Awareness
Day is tomorrow,
Yeah.
April 2nd, so wear blue.
Wear blue.
Yes.
Wear blue for that as well. We want to welcome Charlene McIsaac, our next guest for our show. Hello, Charlene. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah.
Nice.
We're going to tell our viewers a little bit about who you are first before we get talking about a very important subject.
Right. Well, I grew up in Chatham, and I went to school at James M. Hill, and I've been married to my husband Robert for 29 years, and I graduated from James M. Hill in '82, and I went to UMB and graduated in '89, and I taught in the Miramichi area for 22 years before I was forced to retire.
Yeah, it was an
So you were
elementary.
a teacher.
Yes, primary.
Okay.
Primary, and a great teacher. I remember her at that school when my kids went. So
Yeah.
Oh, it's so amazing that you taught elementary. I taught high school briefly, but elementary just, it's so much energy. You must
Special.
so much energy.
Requires a lot.
Yes,
Yes, I
for
love
sure.
teaching high school because they were independent.
Charlene does have a fascinating story to share with the
Yes,
viewers and us today. though.
Definitely,
It's
definitely.
amazing.
Now, you are a recipient of a double lung transplant.
Yes.
So we want to actually start with your story in the beginning. And I'm assuming you were working at the time
Yes,
when.
I was teaching.
Mhm.
And approximately 2006, I started becoming short of breath. And I originally thought I was out of shape, which is very common for lung disease patients.
Right.
And gradually it got worse. I found it difficult climbing stairs. So finally, in 2008, I saw a specialist who diagnosed me with a lung disease, and he told me that eventually I would need oxygen full time.
Oh, wow.
And you were
Wow.
so young.
So there was no
Yes.
signs or symptoms in your younger years when you had children or anything else like that that.
When I think back, sometimes I think maybe I found it a little more difficult to run if my friends were running, but
Not
nothing
really, no.
major.
Nothing.
No. So I had a lung biopsy, and it confirmed that I had a lung disease and that I would eventually have a transplant.
That's
So they
hard
were
to believe.
deteriorating on their own,
Yes.
slowly but surely.
Yes,
So when you hear that diagnosis,
that was a tough day.
that you're gonna have to have a lung transplant, what goes through your head?
Well, it was difficult. My sister was with me, and it was a tough day. My husband came home, and but we got through it. I started medication, and we
Kept
just
on teaching?
I kept teaching
Yes.
for approximately 5 years.
Oh,
after
wow.
that, with accommodations.
Because you said you were in a classroom where you had to go upstairs and downstairs,
Yes.
so they fitted so that you would be on a floor level, like a
Yes.
main downstairs
Yes.
level. And you had children at the time. How old were your children when you were diagnosed, Charlene?
They were in middle school, high school.
Yeah,
So
boy and a
fairly
girl.
young.
Yes,
So
You were
beautiful.
how old when this all?
I was mid-40s.
Young,
Yeah.
vibrant. I mean, I'm older than you, but we used to go out and you used to dance. And at that time, you were a healthy, vibrant,
Oh yes,
exceptionally energetic young woman.
I worked out. I went to the gym.
Very healthy.
So yeah,
So medications helped you get through your day. They
Yes.
did relieve some of your symptoms.
yes, and eventually I was forced to have oxygen therapy when
Okay.
I exercised, and then gradually I had to have it full time.
Well, so from the time you started to feel the symptoms, which was in 2006, till the time you were diagnosed, why did it take so long to 2008? Or is that typical because your lungs
Gradual.
were
They
deteriorating?
just gradually
Okay.
deteriorated. Yes.
Okay. Wow.
By the time we moved to Toronto in 2015, I was on oxygen full time, and I was in a wheelchair at that point.
When you say you moved, you didn't want to move. You had to be hospitalized in
Required.
Toronto.
Close.
We were required to
What
be
hospital was in
close.
Toronto, Charlene?
Toronto General.
Toronto General. So do they are they very well-known specialists that deal with, like, are they one of the main centers for lung transplant?
Lung transplants.
And organ
yes.
transplants?
Yes.
Okay.
And recently, I've seen recently in the news that it's one of the top 10 hospitals in the world.
Isn't that amazing that we
Wow.
have that in
Yes.
Canada?
Isn't that amazing?
Not that far away,
And
really.
it's the #1 transplant hospital in North America.
Oh, I'm so pleased.
So when you're diagnosed with that, are you put on this transplant list
Wait list.
then? Okay, and then it would
Not
be
when I was diagnosed,
No.
when I was listed, when I had
according
to
to
have
the severity.
testing. Yes,
Right.
I had multiple tests and assessed for transplant.
Are there other symptoms besides that ongoing shortness of breath? Because we've all experienced being short on breath. Like when I was expecting and the baby was up here, I could hardly get my breath when I was 9 months. And it's the worst feeling in the entire world to me.
Yeah.
The shortness of breath is terrifying.
No.
Were there other symptoms of general weakness or dizziness? Or
I think the shortness of breath causes you to slow down, which eventually
Causes
causes other issues. Muscle tone is
a little bit of
probably a
atrophy
big one.
of the muscles
Yes.
over time.
And that's why I was why I was in a wheelchair, I guess, because
So when you get put on the
difficult.
list, is that when you move to Toronto?
yes,
Okay, so that
you have to be in Toronto to be listed.
In
Right.
case it happens like overnight, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it didn't, Charlene. We know that. You had
Did
to
not
wait
happen
how
overnight
long?
for me.
From the time of admission to receiving the operation, how long?
I waited 15 months for my call,
Oh my God.
and recovery was 3 months, so we were there for 18 months.
It's unbelievable. You must have, I mean, you don't want to be there, but you must have loved many of the staff that you became to know.
Oh, yes, yes.
And they would love you too.
And we made many friends.
Of course you
We were
would.
required to attend physio 3 times a week,
Mm-hmm.
so you meet many people.
So do you live
Physio.
right in the hospital?
Right
then?
across the street.
Oh, across
We
the
rented
street.
an
There's a
apartment.
facility. Okay.
So on that note then, financially it would be extremely straining because you would have to give up your teaching position and your husband, who was a full-time worker, would have to be there with you, so he would have to give up his job as well.
Pardon me, you require a full-time support person.
Of course you would.
Yes.
So what happens with your children? They're in, where Madeline and is it David?
My daughter had graduated from high school, so she was gone to university, and my son was in school. So we were both.
And I know what you're like because I've known Charlene. You want to be like, you know, a hands-on person with your children. You want to be there for those special things, but you cannot be. So you went through so much emotionally. Did you want to
Yeah,
touch on that, the being separated from your immediate family a lot?
It was tough. My sister and her husband, and they came to visit quite often, so that was helpful for me and my husband because a couple of times he got to come back home.
I remember
So
doing
that was a nice
fundraisers
break for him.
in our
Yes.
community.
Yes,
We did Shannon would be your
Yes.
sister-in-law,
Yeah, my sister-in-law.
the wonderful Shannon Summers.
Yes, I
And
remember.
she did, was it the hanger? It was called
Helping
the
Hanger.
Helping Hanger. What a
Yes.
beautiful
Yeah, the Helping
fundraising
Hanger.
idea.
Yes.
And donation of clothes and handbags and all of that for the
Yes.
women in the community that wanted
Right.
to go to like a big show of gently used items.
Yes.
So Veronique might give that jacket, which she wouldn't, but pretend she gave
brand
that jacket. Then I could go in and buy that. The money would go towards your
Yes.
support.
It's amazing the community support. You don't realize the community support you have until something like this happens. It was overwhelming, really. It was quite amazing.
Now, when you were at your worst health-wise, you know, like, how bad were your lungs, I guess, at the end?
My lung function was 14%
Wow.
before I had my transplant.
14%.
Yes.
That's incredible.
So
how
you were-
long did they? I'm sorry, Judy.
No, I'm just
how
trying to
long
breathe
did they
here.
give you, like, from when you were put on the list? I mean, because you have to sit and wait for someone else to pass
Donate
in
their
order-
lungs.
Yeah, to donate their lungs. But did they give you a timeline that you were going to need
Yes.
them at least by? Because
Well,
you're
they-
deteriorating every day.
They told me my wait would likely be 3 months to 2 years.
Okay. But did
I-
you have that time?
Yes.
That they felt?
I think
Okay.
it was such a slow progression that
Okay.
they knew I had that window.
Mhm.
And I've seen many people go through the system because of the length of time we were there, and we noticed that men seem to go through quicker.
Okay.
But I think it may be because I required small lungs,
That's what I was just going to say,
so
the
it had to
size
be either a child or a smaller
person.
or a woman. Or
Yeah, because it's not just blood type. There's so much else that
Yes.
goes involved in finding a match.
yes.
Physically, anatomically, like you have to,
Yes.
yeah.
So then afterwards, you had to stay for 3 months.
3-month recovery. Very difficult,
Wow.
especially being in a wheelchair and not being as active as I wanted to be. Although we did attend physio 3 times a week, it still was not enough. It was enough to get me through the surgery, and I
Right.
recovered well, but it was difficult.
And you had gone down to your very, very lowest weight, which was what?
95 pounds. 95.
When you wake up from the surgery, I'm sorry, I think of, and you have these new lungs. Are you on a ventilator when you
Yes.
first wake up?
Yes.
Okay. I just keep picturing the day that they take you off of that and you breathe on your own.
Yes, it's a
that.
great feeling.
It is.
Did you
Yeah, very
Did
medicated.
you feel the
still.
difference, I guess? Like,
Well, when you're lying in bed,
Mhm.
you don't feel a huge difference because when you're at rest, even with very low lung function, it's not really like you're not gasping. for
Right.
air.
No,
No.
but it's still a
So-
struggle to get that quality breath in.
Yes. I found eating, I had to eat very small amounts, and talking a lot caused me shortness of
Exertion.
breath. Yes.
So you spent 3 months there in
Yes.
Toronto, and then what was coming home like?
Oh, it was a really nice day.
Yeah.
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 It was
And
really
how
nice.
and since then your life must have changed as well. Like you were saying before we went to air, you do go to the gym and
Yes.
It's amazing.
yeah.
But I want to
Yes,
walk it right back again because I'm so curious as to
Yeah.
your mental well-being. Okay, you're lying there thinking, what if, and what if not? So, was there any moment of depression or rejection that you felt like, okay, is this ever going to happen? Am I ever going to get these lungs? Or you're waiting and hoping. What mental state were you in?
I kept quite positive. I asked my husband that actually before I knew I was coming.
Yeah.
And I said, was I ever depressed? He said, he did this.
A
I think I was
little
on the phone
bit.
with you. He said, he did this, like a little bit, but I don't feel like I was
Well, how
ever
could you not be?
depressed.
I mean, really.
You were always hopeful about,
Yes, I was
like,
always very
always more
positive and
positive
hopeful.
than the glass
Yes.
was half full all
Yes.
the time.
I knew
what-
my call would come, and
Yeah.
I don't know, I
What
just
about
had that
the
feeling.
children? Did you ever sit down with them, or did they discuss what they thought and felt and what they were going through at the time?
They were, no, I don't. They felt pretty good about it. They
Did
were.
they?
Did
I
you
think
think it
they
was
kind
coming?
of felt my vibe that
Yeah,
they knew it was coming. Yeah.
What did you do in Toronto for 15 months?
Well, my husband and I was in the wheelchair, so we didn't stay still very often.
good.
He pushed me around. He was in great shape.
Oh,
We did a lot of things. We saw a lot of the city.
Charlene, I mean, you've been with Bobby for how many years? She's 29
29.
married.
Yes.
So it must definitely renew your love and strength
Oh,
for one
yes,
another and
yes.
support because it has to. It's just the two of
Yes.
you most of the time for a journey like that, which is, it's an unusual one.
Yes.
You don't see this happen every day where a husband and wife spend 15 months almost inseparably, if that's the word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you can only imagine what he himself was going through
Oh.
in his quiet moments.
Yeah.
You know what
Did
I
he
mean?
did he have depressed moments?
I don't think he was depressed. I think he may have found it tough.
Worrying.
Yes, worrying and
Yeah.
Well, and seeing you struggle.
yes.
Yeah.
You know what I
he was
mean?
worried,
To see
yeah.
you deteriorate and,
Oh, yes.
and going down that path and wondering whether or not you're going to get that call. I
Yes.
mean, you can't help but have that play on your mind somewhat,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
For
Yeah.
sure,
Yeah.
But
definitely.
it's-
But to be able to do it together and bond and become stronger through it all, you know.
It had to renew your relationship for
Oh,
sure. And
definitely.
but do we have time before we go to break to ask her about the day that the call came, that the lungs were here? Like that to me is the
Yeah,
most
we have
exciting
3
part
minutes
of the
before
whole.
we're going to take
Okay.
a little break.
Total excitement.
Well,
They,
yes, it was.
the doctor
Where were
came
you?
in?
Were you sitting in
We
the
were
apartment?
in our apartment watching a hockey game, and we got the call. And I think because we waited so long, at that point,
You didn't
when the
believe
phone
them?
rings, you don't even flinch. Usually when the phone at the beginning when the phone rang, you kind of, but
Every time, yeah.
especially
Yeah.
when it's no ID, no
Okay.
caller ID, and you see you
Yeah,
don't know who
right.
this is. But I was a little bit nervous, mostly calm though, and relieved. And we did have one false call,
Oh,
which happens, and the lungs were not good, so they sent us
Right.
back. But
you were hopeful, then they said this is not going to work in your body, so it was a letdown, but then you
Yeah.
just kept on being positive.
but I mean, you don't want lungs that are not good.
No.
either,
No,
so,
that's right.
No, you
yeah.
don't want to go through all of that and find
Yes.
that it didn't.
Yeah.
So
Well-
did you hoop and scream
Oh,
and
we were
like,
yes, we were excited,
And-
and
be able to tell your family and everything?
Yeah.
What a joyful
Yeah,
day
it
that was after all that weight and worry and
Yeah.
weight loss and health issues.
How long
Yeah.
after the call came did you go into surgery?
that right away. Oh, well, we went to the hospital right away. It was 10:30 at night, and it was 5 a.m.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Oh, they don't
have
wait.
to
They don't
prep
frig
you.
around.
Oh no, it's the
No.
lungs. The lungs.
They
need
only
to
stay
be
viable
transplanted.
for.
They do have a new machine to prepare
keep
the lungs.
things,
It's a
okay.
new
I
new
saw
technology.
that on
Yes.
on a documentary. Actually, I watched the whole thing, and you had sent an amazing video of a young man who'd received lungs,
Yes.
and it made me cry.
Yeah.
And the day
Very
you got your
emotional.
lungs, I cried, knowing you and how special you are, and it's a huge thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is huge.
Incredible.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take a short break and do our little commercial thing like we have to do for all.
Commercial thing.
So that so we can stay on the air, and we'll be back with more, and we're going to chat a little bit more about your recovery and where you're at with all of that today. So we'll be back with more Have a Chat after the break. Don't go away. And we're back with Have a Chat with our lovely guest, Charlene McIsaac, who is a double lung transplant recipient. And we've been chatting a little bit about your diagnosis, the surgery, and everything that was involved in that. So now we'd like to move on with our conversation in your home.
But I just want to
You're on
ask,
your way
how
home.
long is the surgery itself? Lung transplant with 2 lungs.
Between 8 and 12 hours.
And
Oh,
you were within
wow.
that, like
Yes.
up to 12 maybe?
can't even
I don't know if I
imagine.
was that long. I think I may have been about 10 hours.
Don't you have a whole new admiration for those surgeons? I do.
Yes.
Oh, I
I
can't
think
even-
heart
Oh,
surgeons,
absolutely.
brain surgeons in general, but heart surgeon, brain surgeon, and all those transplant
Yes.
surgeons are, to
Absolutely.
me, just brilliant.
Yes,
Yeah.
they are.
Now we
absolutely.
notice your voice is very soft and demure. Now is that the voice that you had before? Or
Well,
is
I
that...
always had a quiet voice.
Yes.
But when I woke up from my surgery and they
Right.
removed the tube, I had no voice,
None.
just a whisper. And the surgeon came in and they determined that in the surgery they damaged my vocal cords. So one side is actually paralyzed. The nerves for your vocal cords run into your chest. So
So that's
anytime
a
you have a
risk.
chest surgery, it's a risk.
Okay.
And that happened. And she came in and she apologized and she felt very bad. And anyway,
Yeah.
eventually,
At
a
that
year
point,
later,
you're like, you know what? I got lungs. I'm good.
well, and
Yeah.
that's
I'm
exactly what
breathing.
I said. It's the only complication I had. So
Right.
I said
No
that's
infection, no
nothing.
setbacks.
I've met a lot of people who had many different complications.
Right, on top of
And this one was minor.
minor.
Charlene, how long before you were able to do as well as you're doing with your voice?
So it was almost a year later that I started getting
strong.
Your voice
noise.
You could yell at your
Hear
husband
something.
again. That, you
Yeah.
know, when you can yell at your husband
Yeah.
again, you know you've succeeded.
You've arrived. Yeah.
So
There was an
anyway, I
incentive
saw
there.
the specialist for my
So you
voice.
had to work at it.
And
to
he
get it
told
back.
me, he said, your voice didn't recover. I said, well, I have a voice. He said, yes, but the side that is not paralyzed is compensating for this side. So it's, I don't know if it's moving over. Anyway, it's giving me a
Right.
voice and it's fine with me.
You
The
look
human
great.
body is an amazing thing.
It is
really.
amazing. It is amazing.
For
yeah.
sure.
I just I'm a very, like I said to the girls many times, one of my worst qualities is I'm a worrier. And for me, I would not have your amazing attitude. I'd be just worrying every day, is it going to happen? Am I going to get those lungs? And so, but you didn't go through a lot of that anxiety.
You're a worrier, Judy, but I think you're much like Charlene. You would know that your call was coming.
hope so. I hope I would be as strong as you. Because a lot of people, let's face it, do not get those lungs.
No.
And I've known people, and we knew
Oh,
the
yeah,
little
of
Amy
course.
Singleton, was it, from
Yes.
this area?
Yeah, of
That
course.
wasn't so successful, and we lost her. And it happens a lot,
Yeah.
not just with the lungs, but with other areas
Yeah,
and
for
other
sure.
organs in our body. We don't receive them. So that, yeah, I'm a very positive person, but you're even more positive.
So tell us now your home and the road to recovery and to gaining your strength back and everyday life.
To not being in the wheelchair, being able to.
I found even a year later, I still found some things difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But we're past 2 years now, so I'm really feel strong and have lots of muscle now. And
Go to the
so,
gym.
yeah. Yes.
Who would think you'd be going to the gym 3 to 4 times a week?
Oh,
No,
Certainly
exactly.
not
That's
me.
just it.
No.
Now, just simple little questions. Taking a breath of air and taking it as deep compared to when you were not well.
just going upstairs, like, is huge.
And you can now.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Now, so this is going to sound stupid.
No.
No.
Go for it. We all
No,
have
it's not.
questions.
But I know myself, like when it's like, does the weather affect you? So like when it's really cold out, you know, and I say, when my nose hairs freeze, and I say, oh my goodness, my lungs hurt, it's so cold. Or when
humid.
Or it's so humid and it's like it's so heavy to take a
Not
breath.
anymore.
Does that affect you
Not
at all?
anymore.
Really?
No.
Okay.
No, more so when you were not
Yes,
well.
before my transplant. Yes.
Yeah.
Did you feel a whole new lease on life once you had those lungs and you're on your, like,
yes.
did you appreciate, they say you appreciate every little thing from the
Yes.
cut grass to the sun to everything. You had a whole
Yes.
new appreciation
Oh yes. There's so much I can do everything again.
and appreciate
they
life
tell-
so
they-
much more.
They told me before I left that I really have no limitations.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
so excited.
Is
Well,
it
the only
that
thing
because of
maybe
the
they said
type of-
scuba diving.
Oh, that's okay.
Oh, well.
That's okay.
I don't know if
bunches.
bungee jumping wouldn't be something I'd be running out to do either.
Or
but
boot camp. No.
No, but the type of lung disease that you had, because there's more than one, correct? Kind of
Definitely.
thing or whatever.
Yes.
And whether or not, so when they removed your old lungs, did they give you any indication of what they look like and what they were at and just like,
They didn't really tell me
No?
very much. They
Okay.
don't. I asked, and I
Yeah.
asked at one of my follow-up appointments, and
Right.
they said there may have been some oils in your lungs,
Oh.
but I don't know.
So they defined it as chronic obstructive lung disease,
Yes.
which was your diagnosis.
Yes.
oh, okay.
At a young age, that's
Yes.
unusual.
Yeah, it would be, for
But
sure.
we're going to have to talk a really important subject,
The biggest
donor
part of all
donations.
of this
Yeah,
is the
organ
organ
donation.
donation, because without that, this wouldn't even be possible.
You wouldn't be
No.
here.
So now
No.
you have some numbers you want to share with us
Yes.
about how
well,
that
this
actually.
this is the beginning of Organ Donation Awareness Month,
Correct.
Great.
April.
Yes.
And actually, 90% of Canadians verbally support organ donation.
So 90%,
and
which is good.
Only 20% of Canadians are actually registered for organ
Which
donation.
is really bad.
That's actually astonishing
It's sad.
and sad. Yeah, exactly.
But it's funny though because I've had that conversation with
family members.
and friends
So
and
that they know your wishes.
yeah, oh yeah, like my family knows very clearly, know,
Yes.
what I would
Good.
wish if something should happen.
Mhm.
But it's funny, I often say, like, are you a registered donor? And they always say, oh no, I meant to do that, but I
Oh,
didn't.
see, and so do all these other people.
But that's what's happened,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Well, I have another stat. In 2018, more than 450 relatives declined because they were unsure of their family's wishes.
I was wondering
You
that
have to be clear,
too.
then you have to specify to your family
Yeah.
while we're alive and
Because
well.
the medical staff will ask, are they an organ? And they're like, oh, I'm not sure if they are or not.
So
So,
I
then
better
they
not.
say
Yeah, that's-
not.
yeah.
Because
Say
there is a short window of time in
Yeah,
which
that's
those
right.
organs can be harvested and used, correct?
Yes.
So I'm going to put it out there.
Yes.
I am an organ donor should that ever be needed.
Yes. No, I'm on that same boat as well. Whatever is needed. I don't need to take any of that
No,
stuff
I'm
with
taking
me.
it with me.
No.
But so when
definitely.
we renew our New Brunswick, we're New Brunswickers
Medicare.
obviously, but people from around everywhere is watching the show. When we renew our Medicare, there's a form that comes with that saying, "Are you willing
Yes.
to be a donation, a
And
donor,
your Medicare card will come with a D on
a
it.
donor?"
So it's not just your driver's license, because I
No.
think a lot of people think it's just on that.
No, your Medicare card.
Yeah, it's on your Medicare card as well.
Well, and I went so far as to put it in my phone because there's a medical ID piece in my iPhone, and so that they can like see if I have any allergies or whatever,
Oh, yes.
and I put it in there as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
But other ways to, obviously there's other ways to be a donor besides your Medicare application form. Can you go to a website and say, I wish to be a donor? Or there's got to be.
I'm not even sure.
I don't know if
Why don't we
Medicare's
find that
the-
out?
Yeah.
Medicare's the
I'm
big
gonna
one.
to find
assuming
out
that
whether or
there
not-
has to be, or the hospital would
Somewhere
give a
online.
form or something to say.
Medicare's the big one, but I think families
Families
speak.
need to know what your wishes
they
are.
need to know your wishes.
So talk with your family.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'll
Openly.
find out. I'll find out. We'll post some information on our Facebook page.
Yeah,
There has to
definitely,
be.
as far as that goes. Now, when it comes to the medical staff, or because obviously we don't have a hospital here that deals with transplants or things like that, so it's so important that those things are filled out, because the medical staff is not that they're not equipped to deal with that, but that's not something they're set up to do on a regular basis, correct? So when things go wrong, they tend to go wrong quickly. So that kind of information needs to be out there and shared. For
Well,
sure.
and I think, to your point, is that 450 relatives declined because they were unsure, right? Not only do you need to fill out, on your card, but you need to tell your family.
Exactly, have that conversation.
It's a tough conversation to have. Like, I mean, my parent, I remember the first time I had the conversation with my mother, and she said, well, I don't want to know because I won't be involved. And I'm like, Mom, you never know, like, what could happen, right?
Oh, for sure.
And like, because mom's expectation is she's older, she's the one that's going to go first. And I said, well, Mom, just in
not
case,
necessary.
That's
if anything ever happened, this is really important to me that you understand that. And then I told the same thing to Dad. Dad is a little more, practical in that whole thing. Well, yeah, okay, thanks.
But not one of us knows who's going to go. You could have a 95-year-old grandmother, and
That's
you could
exactly.
be 12, and you could go,
Exactly. So I think, that piece particularly that stuck out to me is not only are we talking about it, but we're not telling our families. And when they have to make that critical decision, it's such a tough decision. They're in the midst of the worst parts of their life, right? When they're dealing with with someone dying that they don't want to, obviously. Then to have to say, well, I don't know if they're an organ donor or not.
I know.
We need to take that burden off them and say, you know what, I want to donate.
So Thomas Dunn, then, who we're honoring this past week with the Renew's Craftville hockey win, who was a little angel, he donated at a very young age. Then, obviously.
Well, he was 14 when he died, right? So
Yes.
yeah.
So they automatically
Yep.
take their organs.
No, his parents.
That's what I mean. You have to have consent from your parents.
Yes.
Would he have to have consented too? Or
Yeah. No, his parents.
He's
had,
underage, so they had to say,
They
we
would.
wish to
Yeah.
donate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
But
cannot
I believe
donate
they've had that
underage.
conversation.
No,
with
I
him.
believe he decided though.
And your Medicare card, no matter what age you are, will have the D on it.
So
but
he-
of course, it'll be your parents.
Yeah.
Oh,
do
Yeah,
exactly.
because
Because
under
of
the
age.
age of 16,
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken,
Parental
your parents.
consent.
Yes,
Because there was a
exactly.
young fellow as well from the Humboldt bus crash
Ah.
that donated.
And next Sunday is Logan Boulay.
That's it. Yeah.
There's a Green Day, Green
Yeah.
Shirt Day.
That's right.
Okay,
Next
tell us about
Sunday.
Logan Boulay.
He's the one. He's
the Humboldt.
He's the Humboldt player.
So they're recognizing him next Sunday with
Yeah.
Green Shirt Day.
To think Thomas Dunn saved
8.
8 lives, and he
Yeah.
just turned 15 yesterday
Yes.
is pretty amazing.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
his organs will likely go to the Children's Hospital in
And how healthy,
Toronto.
unfortunately, it was a car accident, so everything would be, his eyes would be, everything would be perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shirley, when you were in the hospital, was it just a floor for lungs, or was there heart and other organs, kidneys, or was it specifically, like, tell us about the Toronto Hospital?
There's a transplant unit.
Yes, just for lungs,
Yes.
where you were.
No.
everything.
All
organs.
different organs?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
What about now your ongoing care? We talked a little bit about therapy, and you're feeling better. Rejection drugs. Now,
Yes.
because these are
I-
not your lungs.
I take 25 to 30 pills a day,
Wow.
and
okay.
8 of them are rejection medications.
Because
Well,
that's a
8 to 10.
lifelong thing, correct?
Yes.
Regardless.
Every 12
So
hours.
could your body reject those lungs like
Yes.
10 years from now,
Yes.
even though they've been with you
Yes.
for that long? Really, I didn't.
But I don't
realize.
focus on that.
No,
I just
no.
focus on. But it can happen, and I feel like if I'm as healthy as I can be,
Yeah.
that,
Eat healthy,
that
exercise.
benefits.
So the
healthy.
fact that it's your blood type and they
And
fit
that's
and stuff like
another,
that, is that another
blood
thing?
blood type, and yeah, well, it has to be blood type, but yeah, it's.
Do you have any after effects from the medicine? What's up to 30 pills a day? Do you get nauseous?
No,
Nothing
that's
like
not
that?
one that I've ever had.
Or fatigue?
Headaches a little
Headaches. Not overly fatigued.
bit. No, just about an hour after my medication in the morning, and not every day.
That's a lot of pills to take in one day, but you're doing it because you have to do it. You do what you've got to do.
I complain about taking my multivitamins. I'll be honest.
I know. I'm sitting there. I'm taking all kinds of supplements just for what I'm doing, and I'm like, and I'm just, I can't imagine. But you don't feel. I'm wondering, like, if you don't take those medications, when we talk about rejection, your body will actually turn against itself in a sense.
The lungs will reject my body.
The lungs will reject
Yes.
your body.
And the medication suppresses my immune system.
Okay.
Oh.
So it's kind of
that
similar
a risk?
to chemo.
Is
It is
that
a
a
risk
risk as
for-
well as
for
far as like
infections.
getting a cold
Yes.
or a pneumonia or anything else like that?
And the biggest reason why I haven't returned to teaching because
with the-
I taught little ones
Yeah.
Always sickness in the
So
school.
And they're just an
No.
incubator.
They
for,
are.
They're just an incubator for sick.
Unfortunately, they are.
But
Yeah,
you'll
they
never
are.
say never. Like, you know,
No.
maybe someday you'll
Yes.
just have that desire to go
I
back.
keep in the back of my mind. I think about it, but
Yeah.
Maybe.
Once a
Okay.
teacher, always a teacher.
Oh,
Yeah.
I believe, yeah.
Well,
I
organ
agree.
donation and transplants are just like a medical marvel to
They
begin
are,
with,
they
like
are.
hugely.
Yes.
And to
Miracle.
have to take a few,
Pills.
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
to make sure that I'm sure that you are just more than thankful and just,
Very thankful.
you know.
What are you most grateful for out of all this story since 2006 to 2019 today? What is the biggest joy that you can, like your children, your family, your life? What would you say?
Well, first of all, I'm very grateful for my donor and their family.
yeah.
Super.
Yes.
So that's the number one. I think just to get back to doing normal, everyday things that I couldn't do before, and being there for my kids and my husband
Exactly,
again.
they're still
They've
young.
spent so much time looking after me that
Yes.
it's nice to be able to
Be a mom and a wife again.
be doing it
Yeah,
again. Yes, looking
Exactly,
after.
and looking forward to each and every single day.
Yes,
Would you
Yeah.
want to meet your donor's family?
I would like to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely.
It's
Yeah,
going to be
I
hard
would
for
think I'd
them
want to.
Yeah.
to look at you and as thankful as they'll be and as in awe as they will be able to say that their loved one's organ went into your body and
Yep.
you're thriving
That's
and
right.
theirs
Yes.
didn't. But it's still an emotional, beautiful thing to do
Yeah.
someday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
Hopefully it will
often seen
happen.
stories where they have met each other, so I wondered if
I would
that
think there's
be-
something set up that in the future that would be something that if you were looking to and then all of a sudden they were looking to, there'd be
It would
that
be nice.
swipe left or swipe right kind of thing.
Right now
that
in
there'd be
Canada,
that.
the privacy rules
Yes.
That's
against
right.
that. but
Okay.
It would be nice to have that.
But
Yeah.
you're really promoting this and telling people to please be a donor.
Yes.
How vital it
That
is.
is that
to
is
save
our main
lives.
message here
And
today.
tell your family. Tell
Yeah.
your family.
Tell
Talk
your
to them.
family.
Have
Let
it-
everyone know for sure. We want to thank you so much, Charlene, for coming
Well,
on
thank
and
you very
telling
much
us
for
your
inviting
story.
me.
What a
Thank
special guest you've been.
Yes, for
Yes,
sure.
Thank you.
most definitely, and we wish you the best of luck and
You
to
look beautiful.
continue
Thank
to thrive and enjoy your family and they get to enjoy you. Again, to our viewers, we want to make sure that you fill out your donor card with your Medicare card, your driver's license, and be an organ donor and let your family know. Thank you so much for watching us here at Have a Chat. Enjoy your day. We'll see you again. Bye-bye.
Happy April.